G'day folks, and welcome to Gourmet's Shed. Well, this week what we're doing is looking at how to make downpipes and sewer pipes to complement your model buildings. And the method I'm using is just using wire, which has some pieces put on it to make it look like pieces of downpipe connected together or sewer pipe connected together, and obviously we bend the wire and paint it, and you will get something that resembles this as the end result of this little exercise today. This is all made purely with wire and tape and paint, of course, to achieve that look. And I think it greatly improves any model, and it's very simple to do. So we'll move into the workshop and we'll have a look at my method now. Actually, I think it probably is simply my method. I don't know of anyone else that does it this way. There possibly is somebody, but it just came out of my head, so if I've stolen somebody's idea, I'm sorry. Okay, let's go into the workshop. Okay, what we're going to use for this exercise is some wire. That's 1.25mm galvanized wire, some masking tape, some super glue, a sharp knife, that's a snap-off knife, a straight edge, and I've got a ruler here as well, and I'll explain what they're for. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut some of this wire to length to suit the back of the building, and then we're going to straighten it out, and it will be cut oversized actually when we start. We'll straighten it out, and then we will bend it to shape, and then we will use some of this masking tape to create the joints in the pipe. And that's a very simple method, and this tape will be secured in place with some super glue, and then we will obviously check the measurements on the pipe and lay it over the building a couple of times, and then we'll paint it, and then later on it will have its final trim so it's exactly right to fit on the building. So we'll get into that now. Now, I've already cut myself a length of wire. That's probably about 6 inches in the old money, close enough for this exercise. And the first thing we'll do is straighten it out. Now, the method I use to straighten it out is to find a nice hard flat surface, and you can use a piece of timber if you like and roll over the top of the wire to flatten it out on the flat surface, or you can use a bit of steel if you happen to have some flat steel to roll it, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, the purpose of the rolling is to straighten the wire out. This bit's not too bad actually, but I just place it on my flat bench here. This is an old kitchen top actually, and I've got a lump of steel that I use, but you could use a piece of timber and you would get the same effect. So all you do is you lay it over the top of the wire, and then you just roll it backwards and forwards, and that will eventually straighten out the wire for you. It won't be perfect, but you can manipulate it with your fingers to get a very reasonable result. So the rolling is purely to sort of get you in the ballpark, and then you can make adjustments with your fingers to set it up properly. Now, I like to square up the ends as well before I really get underway. I square up one end anyway to start with, and you can do this with a grindstone or a mini cutting disc if you've got it, or as a last resort you could use a fine file to do that. But it's just it makes it fit up under guttering or whatever a bit better if you've got a nice square end on it. This one's not perfect, but it'll do for this demonstration. Now, on this building, there's this is a kit bashed super quick kit. You can see the mark on the bottom of the building here where the printed pipes were, so I'll put my pipe over that to disguise it, and it's going to be a downpipe that comes from roughly straight up above that line and connect up with the guttering here. So what I'll have to do is put a couple of 45 bends in this wire to simulate the pipe coming down off the guttering, and then it will be up somewhere close to the wall, flush to the wall, and travel down. So I'll put a couple of bends in that and see how we go. And for that I'm just using a small pair of pliers, needle nose pliers. So I'll have a go at that, and we'll see how that shapes up.
Now it's looking okay when I place it on there loosely, but I can see that the top part near the bend is just a bit off vertical, so I'll just give that an adjustment. And this is the thing with wire, you can just bend it to suit until it looks right, and yeah, that's a lot better. So you can see I've got, well, I don't know whether you can see actually, but I've got much more wire than I need here, and that will be trimmed off when I'm happy with what I've got here. And after painting, actually, I will leave it a bit longer than I need, and I can put it in a closed peg or a clip or a vise or something to hold it while I paint it, and I'll trim it off when it's actually finished. So I think now we can move on to the next stage. Right, the next stage is I just get some masking tape. Now this is just standard masking tape that you would use for the home, and it's about 18mm wide, something like that. Doesn't really matter too much what you use. And I'm sticking it onto this steel ruler I've got here, because it will peel off pretty well off the steel surface, and I've laid it down parallel with the edge of the ruler so that I can still see the millimetre markings. And what I'm going to do is run another second straight edge, I should say, over the ruler, and I'm going to cut myself some 1mm strips of the masking tape. Now I've cut the strips, and you just have to get the point of the blade under the end of one of them and push it onto the blade so it sticks, and you can lift it off. Right, got it. Now I want to have a joint just on the bottom of that S-bend, so I stick the end onto the wire, and being masking tape, it sort of grips pretty well, and then you just roll the wire and allow the masking tape to wind on to the wire. Now it depends on the thickness of your wire, and you also, as to how you want this to look, but I've just rolled the 18mm length of masking tape around that piece there. Now, might look a bit ordinary to you at this stage, but it has to be painted, and I can assure you it will look a lot more different on the model. So what we'll do is just press that down. Now to reinforce that, I'll take some super glue, and I would estimate that the pipe coming up would sort of flange out to accept the pipe from above. So what I do is I take a bit of super glue, and I'll put a drop of super glue on the wire so that it meets the masking tape, and then I roll it until it sort of dries. I've probably got a little bit too much on there, but I roll it. Now what happens is that the super glue soaks into the masking tape and makes it go hard like plastic, but the excess super glue, you probably can't see that properly, the excess super glue that sits above the masking tape here creates that sort of flanged look and goes hard, and when we paint that it'll look like the pipe flares out. This camera's not focusing on the wire very well, and I doubt whether you could see this anyway, so I just keep it rolling for a while until I think that it's actually set, and don't lay it down while the glue is wet, because it'll stick to something. If you've got to put it down, put it into some sort of a clamp or something where you can stand it up and keep the glue off any surfaces until it's dried properly. So yeah, I'm not doing this very well. I'm going out of the camera shot from time to time, but you'll get the idea. So that's what we do to create a joint. Now if you want to create another joint further down the pipe, you can do that by just doing exactly the same method. Yeah, on a two-story building like that, I guess you could have another joint about halfway down, so we might even do that. So I'll go on and do that, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I've fitted my second joint, and I've also put a mark on here as to where I'm going to cut off the pipe. This is pretty well oversized, so I can have a section here at the bottom that I can put into a clip or a peg or something, so that I can paint, and that'll be trimmed off when the piece is painted. So yeah, so I'll trim that off, and then we'll get into some painting. Now I just used some simple artist's acrylic black paint. It's not matte, but it comes up okay, and it's just a matter of painting the wire. And I use one of these gizmos, helping hands from years ago. It's just a couple of alligator clips on a little frame, and you can move it around at all sorts of weird and wonderful angles, but it's really handy when you want to paint something like this, because it holds it for a start. You don't have to worry about holding it, and you can leave it there to dry. Yeah, so I just do it with a brush and the paint, and take my time, and doesn't matter if it's a little bit rough. Sometimes downpipes are a little bit rough. They have a hard life, but generally this acrylic dries pretty well okay, and looks really good. Right, it's done now, it's painted, so I'm just going to put that down, let it dry. I'm going to walk away from it. So the next stage will be just trimming it to length and sticking it on the building. Now I usually lay, once it's dry of course, I lay the pipe on the building in the position that it's going to be in, and then I mark with my knife on the paint where I want to cut it. So I actually scrape a bit of the, I can't see that properly without it moving, but yes, here we are. I mark on the wire with the blade. I scrape some of the paint away, so I know that's where I've got to cut. That's how I do it. So we'll do that, and then we'll come back. Right, just check it for size again. Once you've trimmed it off, make sure it's not sticking down below the building, in which this case it's pretty good actually. So the next stage is gluing it on, and I just use some super glue on the joints, and the way I do that is I'll show you actually. I'll show you how I do that. I just put a drop of super glue under a bit of plastic or something that you got laying about, something where it won't soak in, and then I hold the downpipe with pliers, those needle nose pliers again, and I just drop it onto the back of those joints that we put on. Just put a drop on the back of each joint, and then I take the pipe to the model and carefully lay it on and position it, and this is a bit tricky. And hold it in place momentarily till the glue grabs, and hopefully it will stay there. Looks like it's going to, and it's pushed up under the guttering, and obviously it's just a fraction above the bottom of the building here. So the way that's coming out is like this. We'll zoom back a bit and show you how it's gone on. So it looks like that, and you can see the top there. Hope that's staying in focus, and You can see, if I can show you the end, it kicks out from the wall just under the guttering there. And that's all there is to it, folks. And I'll put it down on the bench there, and then we'll move in with the camera nice and close, and you can have a look. So here we go. So there you are. That's it. That's one of them anyway. There's another one to go on. I'll have to work out where I'm going to put that, but there'll be another one down here. There's another piece of guttering that's separate here, so I'll have to run one down there. But that's the idea anyway. That's how it's done, and I think it greatly improves the model. Well, there you are, folks. That's your lot for this week. It's quite a simple exercise, I think you would agree. And you know, you can use all different sizes of wire, and you can put as many joints as you like, and you can make the joints as wide as you like, and you can get into real scale detail if you want to. But really, for you know, the back of a super quick kit, just a quick job like we've just done here greatly improves the kit. So there you have it, and I'll see you next week. Cheers, Gourmet.